What's it like to be a creature with brains in your arms, the ability to edit your own genes, and sleep patterns that might include dreams? Octopuses are among the most intelligent animals on Earth, and what we've learned about them in recent years challenges everything we thought we knew about consciousness itself. The brain is where things get weird. An octopus has roughly 500 million neurons, about the same as a dog, but 2/3 of those neurons aren't in their head. The arms hold them instead, distributed throughout all 8 limbs. Each arm essentially has its own mini-brain that can taste, touch, and move independently without waiting for instructions from headquarters. A 2011 experiment proved just how autonomous these arms actually are. Scientists guided octopus arms through mazes, and the arms could solve the puzzles even when they couldn't use their chemical sensors, which meant the arm was thinking on its own. The central brain, shaped like a donut and wrapped around the esophagus, maintains overall control, but the arms have genuine autonomy. That helps explain why octopuses are such incredible escape artists. Any space the size of their eyeball becomes a potential exit route, and they remember solutions to puzzles they've solved before. Individual human faces don't fool them either. Some have been observed playing, blowing pill bottles around their tanks with jets of water just for fun. Otto, an octopus at a German aquarium, repeatedly short-circuited the power supply by shooting water at an overhead lamp, and the repair bills got so expensive they had to release him back into the wild. Intelligence is one thing, but tool use is another level entirely. Between 1999 and 2008, researchers Julian Finn and Mark Norman from Museum Victoria in Australia spent over 500 hours diving in Indonesia, and what they documented changed how we think about invertebrate intelligence. Veined octopuses were using tools, something no invertebrate had ever been seen doing before. These octopuses collected discarded coconut shell halves from the seafloor, cleaned them with jets of water, and carried them up to 20 meters. The shells weren't for immediate use though, and that's what made it remarkable. The octopuses were carrying them for future protection, walking on stiff arms in an awkward, stilt-like manner, with the shells stacked beneath their bodies. When danger appeared, they would assemble the two halves into a complete sphere and hide inside. Scientists call this true tool use because it requires planning and foresight. The octopus accepts a burden now, with no immediate benefit, for protection later, which places them in the same rare category as chimpanzees and certain birds. And remember, they figured this out with no parents to teach them, since most octopuses live about 1 year. Now here's something that sounds impossible. Octopuses are completely colorblind, with only one type of visual pigment in their eyes, yet they can perfectly match the colors of their surroundings. Scientists still don't fully understand how they pull this off, though the leading theory suggests they might be able to sense light through their skin itself. The mechanism they use for camouflage involves thousands of specialized cells called chromatophores just below the skin surface. These are elastic sacs filled with pigments in black, brown, orange, red, or yellow. And when muscles around them contract, the sacs expand and the color becomes more visible. Below that layer sit iridophores that produce greens, blues, silvers, and golds, and below that are leucophores, which are white reflectors. One day, octopus was observed changing patterns over 1,000 times during a 7-hour period. Though they're not creating infinite variations, they use 3 to 5 basic pattern templates and can also change their skin texture using structures called papillae to create 3-dimensional effects that match rocky surfaces or coral. The mimic octopus takes this even further. Discovered in Indonesia in 1998, this species can impersonate more than 15 different marine animals, including lionfish, sea snakes, stingrays, and flounders, and it's the only animal known to shift between multiple complex imitations. The disguises aren't random either, because it specifically imitates venomous animals that predators avoid. Scientists call this dynamic mimicry, and watching it happen is absolutely wild. Octopuses appear to dream, which is even stranger. Researchers at the Brain Institute of the Federal University of Rio Grande do Norte in Brazil discovered in 2021 that octopuses experience 2 distinct sleep stages: quiet sleep, where they're motionless and pale with narrowed eyes for more than 6 minutes, and active sleep, which lasts typically seconds to about a minute. During active sleep, their brain activity closely resembles being awake. Arms and eyes twitch, breathing quickens, and their skin flashes with vibrant colors roughly once per hour. Researchers at the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology used 8K ultra-high-resolution cameras in 2023 to capture these patterns, and what they found were brain waves similar to sleep spindles in mammals, specifically in regions associated with learning and memory. Professor Sam Ryder, who led that study, explained it this way. The octopus's skin pattern acts as a visual readout of their brain activity during sleep. If they're dreaming, he suggests the dreams would be brief, like small video clips or GIFs, rather than complex narratives, possibly practicing camouflage patterns or replaying memories from earlier in the day. Heidi the Octopus, filmed in 2019 by David Scheel at Alaska Pacific University, became the most famous example. The video went viral because you can watch her skin cycle through different colors and patterns while she sleeps, as if she's dreaming about the ocean floor she explored hours before. All of this raises a serious question about consciousness and how we treat these animals. The UK government announced something significant on November 19, 2021, when they extended their Animal Welfare Sentience Act to include all cephalopod mollusks, which includes octopuses, squid, and cuttlefish. Royal assent came on April 28, 2022, making it law. Dr. Jonathan Birch from the London School of Economics led a review that analyzed over 300 scientific studies, and the evidence was overwhelming. Sentience, as he defined it, means the capacity to have feelings, not just pain, but pleasure, hunger, thirst, warmth, joy, comfort, and excitement. By 2024, over 500 researchers had signed a declaration supporting the likelihood of consciousness in cephalopods. Recognition of consciousness makes what's happening with conservation even more concerning, though. Most octopus species aren't currently endangered, and the common octopus and giant Pacific octopus are both listed as least concern on the IUCN Red List. But several species face serious threats that could push them toward extinction. The Ruffy umbrella octopus, found in waters off New Zealand, is critically endangered. The population decreased by 70%, and despite being a common bycatch species, it hasn't been seen since 1999. Climate change is a major factor since octopuses are cold-blooded, and with as little as a 3 degrees Celsius increase in temperature, mortality rates can increase by 30%. Overfishing is another massive problem that's gotten worse as global demand has increased significantly. Many octopus fisheries are now overfished, and deep-sea trawling physically destroys the seafloor habitats where deep-sea octopuses live. Their slow reproduction rates make recovery nearly impossible once populations crash, and that's when octopus farming entered the conversation. Nueva Pesca Nova, a company in 2023, proposed building an octopus farm in the Canary Islands, and the backlash was immediate. On World Octopus Day, October 8, 2023, 75 NGOs and experts sent a joint letter opposing it, and their concerns were serious. Octopuses are naturally solitary and would suffer in cramped tanks, leading to aggression and cannibalism among animals that evolved to live alone. They're carnivorous too, which means they'd need to be fed wild fish, increasing pressure on already overfished populations. Washington State responded by passing the world's first legislation to ban octopus farming in 2024, and California and Hawaii are introducing similar bills as the momentum builds globally against this practice. There's one more thing worth knowing about octopus dedication. Researchers from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute documented a deep-sea octopus called Granelodon boreopacifica in 2014, and what they witnessed was extraordinary. This mother brooded her eggs for 53 months, which is 4.5 years, the longest brooding period ever recorded for any animal on Earth. She never left her eggs during 18 research dives. She never ate, not even the crabs and shrimp nearby that would have been easy meals. She gradually faded, losing weight, her skin becoming loose and pale, her eyes growing cloudy as the months turned into years. When researchers returned for the final visit, the eggs had hatched and the female was gone, her sacrifice complete. That kind of devotion from a creature we're only beginning to understand tells you something profound. National Geographic released a 3-part series called Secrets of the Octopus in April 2024, executive produced by James Cameron and narrated by Paul Rudd, and it took over 200 days of filming to capture behaviors never seen before on camera. We're living in a moment where science is revealing just how remarkable these animals are. They use tools, they might dream, they're recognized as sentient beings under law, and they have 3 hearts, blue blood, and brains distributed throughout their bodies. All of this they've been doing for 328 million years since their ancestors first appeared in the fossil record. The question now isn't whether octopuses are intelligent, because the evidence for that is overwhelming. The question is what we do with that knowledge, and whether we're willing to protect them while we still can.